Welcome back to Tiny Blue Games. My name's of course Csaw or Chris, and today we're talking about Final Fantasy XIV in 2023. Today we are finally doing something that we did a long time ago, but we're doing it again. We are watching the ShadowBringers trailer. This is the original trailer that, was it 4 years ago now, brought me into Final Fantasy XIV. I have since then played through the base game, through Heavensward, and through Stormblood, and now I am at the gates of ShadowBringers, and it's finally time to actually come and watch this trailer again, see if I understand anything about it this time, and if anything, get super hyped to play ShadowBringers. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I'll probably pause throughout it and see if I can actually identify things that are happening. But yeah, I'm excited to see. Let's start it. All right. The music, in all of these trailers, is just so beautiful. This is probably the very final battle that we were doing. What's that? All right. Because there was a final battle that we just did where we faced off against.
How many years have come and gone since that?
Yeah, there's the player character. Yes, against this guy right here. This is the final fight we did. Okay, so it's Xenos. And
how many years have I waited for this moment?
Right during this final fight is when we started to have our soul sucked like everyone else.
Stood alone against the storm.
Oh, this is so intense. This is already so much cooler now that I actually understand. Okay, because I knew it was the player character that was fighting someone, but I did not understand it was Xenos. And out of all the villains that we've seen so far in Final Fantasy XIV, or that I've seen, he's one of the ones that we've actually faced off against the most. So it's really cool to see a cinematic trailer where we are facing off against them. I did play Samurai for Stormblood as well, so it feels like a huge amount of representation of what I actually did, which is super cool. God, they just do such a good job of setting the scene.
For the one they called. The warrior of light.
I don't know where we are now, though. I like the camera angle. I do remember this when I was first watching the trailer. So we're having a bunch of flashbacks, it would seem, kind of giving us a recap of all the expansions. So let's just recap, let's take it back. We were in the fight with Xenos, and now we're kind of wandering in what looks like the wilderness or maybe the desert area, because that's somewhere we've been a fair bit in the post-Stormblood patch, where we set up that big wall and everything. So maybe that's where we are. But it's interesting because... yeah, it's interesting that we're having all these visions, because there's definitely something going on with our mind. We've seen all of our friends now be soul-sucked, if you will, into the ether, and we once kind of went down that way, but not fully. So we're trying to kind of figure out where everyone's been taken, and hopefully this expansion tells us. The heck's this? This still makes no sense what that little guy is. No life. Oh wait, no. Let me go back and I gotta read this. What does he say? He says, "Wary wanderer, no fight left to fight." So, which is fairly accurate. I mean, we're kind of at the end of our rope, because pretty much all of the other scions have been taken, and we're quite powerful as a unit. So I get that. But how does he know? How's he involved? No life yet to live. Oh, it come. No, this isn't the desert, I don't think. It's like an angel, which attacks us. Yeah, so I remember this. And this scene, actually, this whole interaction of changing your job mid-fight was one of the really cool reasons that I joined the game, because I knew Final Fantasy XIV was all about the ability to have this one character that you played all of the different roles on. I was pretty sure even when watching the trailer originally that you could not change mid-fight, but it was still such a cool like fantasy, right? To be this master of many different disciplines. So very, very cool. Right, fool, who are you? No one, nothing. The music, like, is just crazy. Okay, so this is the forest getting attacked. Like, this is Giribania getting attacked, it would appear. And to this point in the post Stormblood story, and we're all the way up to Shadowbringers start, pretty much, there hasn't necessarily been conflict. I mean, we did have a fight. We had to fight, but it wasn't near Giribania. So this seems like something that is literally happening in the trailer that has not happened in game yet, from what I can understand. Like, in terms of where I am in the story, obviously, for everyone who's done Endwalker, or in Endwalker, yeah, you've probably witnessed these events. Who do we have at the top here? Because, like, all of the Scions are gone.
What sayest thou, Master Matoya?
Oh, Matoya, okay. And Urianger.
We may accept this fate, or defy it, but we cannot deny it.
Now, he is certainly one of the ones that has been taken. So it's interesting to see him talking here. It's also very interesting. I mean, he is kind of talking in his speech. I was going to say it's interesting to hear him using the language like we all do normally. But he is kind of talking in riddles still. That silly Urianger.
Deny? I am not wont to run from my troubles.
Oh man, is the music just blasting. I love this. Dragoon, there we go. Yeah, so it doesn't look like things are going well. I mean, we're having huge fights. The forest is on fire. We're fighting an angel, which is very interesting. As far as I know, there is no indication of what this angel is in terms of where we are in the game. Like, there's nothing that's kind of leading me to believe we should be fighting an angel, unless I've just flat out gone over some sort of clues, which my chat would be the first to say that does happen.
Until our friend returns, I will hold the line.
Very good. So until our friend returns. Does that mean until Urianger comes back? Like, was she communicating with him somehow? I mean, from all that I saw in the preamble, I think Matoya is going to be a pretty big figure in this expansion. And what I mean by that is it does seem, with the past few expansions, with Heavensward, with Stormblood, Square Enix has been very specific in saying, hey, this set of characters is going to play a main role in this expansion. We've seen it happen with Alphino in the Heavensward one for sure. Lys, and to a degree, Alize in Stormblood. And what they do with those characters is they really flesh them out. Like, if you asked me much about Lys before Stormblood, there's not a bunch I would be able to tell you. However, after Stormblood, I can kind of give you some volumes. And to a degree, most of the Scions are going to be present in certain situations, especially main battles and stuff like that. But there's certainly these characters that they segment off as, like, main characters. And I think Matoya makes a lot of sense because of the fact that she has such a role with ether and the ability to, I believe it's like to see it, or like to understand it to a degree that a lot of others can't. And I've said in a few of the times people have asked, what do I think Shadowbringers about? Well, I think it's about ether. It's about finding out what ether is really, what like it comes from, what it does. Like, we've kind of just accepted it, at least as the player, accepted it as part of this world and like the magic of this world. But it certainly seems like this is drawing us to figure out more about it. I don't know where this city is, or even who these people are. What do we got here? Oh, it's the new class, the Gunbreaker. Big old lion, which is super cool. Oh, it's Thancred. I love it. So, does Thancred go through some... I mean, Thancred hasn't actually been a main character in a lot of these expansions either. Once again, been someone who kind of shows up. I think he had more of a main role in ARR near the end of it. And then hasn't had... Like, he's had occasional moments, occasional chapters, but certainly has not been focused on, like Lise or something like that. So it would be cool to see him play a more major role, because I do really enjoy his character. So very interesting to see. And I'd say so far, in terms of rewatching this trailer, the number one thing that I am understanding is who these characters are. Because when I started the game, I had no idea who these characters were. So it is really cool now picking out, oh, okay, so they're being featured in this trailer. Oh, they're saying this in this trailer. I don't know who the girl that he's leading is. It's pretty cool tank.
Going anywhere. I promise you, Minfilia.
Oh, it's Minfilia. Holy cow. Minfilia is she was part of the Scions, and we kind of lost her. Wow, that's right, unless I'm completely confusing things, which the comments are just going to go ballistic about. Minfilia is part of the Scions, and we lost her to the Ethereal Sea. I'm trying to think of exactly what happened, but that was way back in... Was it in Heavensward? It must have been in Heavensward. Was it the post-Heavensward? I'm trying to think of what map it took place in. It was in Heavensward. It was before Stormblood, I can tell you that. Maybe it was ARR, but it was before Stormblood. And we lost her, and we haven't seen her in a really long time. So this is also, to be clear, not necessarily what she looked like, though she is kind of hidden with this cloak. So she's got longer hair, and I feel like she has shorter hair. And that's like my biggest weakness in life, is if someone changes their hairstyle, they look like a completely different person to me. It happens in TV all the time, and I'm like, who is this? But yeah, that's a huge drop that I definitely didn't get the first time watching this. So very, very cool. Okay, so I feel like this is the new main city. Is that the Crystal Tower, actually? That could be the Crystal Tower, which we've, with the pre-quest, have alluded to being quite important. I love all that they do with the different camera angles throughout this. And then this is the dancer as well, which is really cool. I'm not playing either of the main like introduced jobs in this this chapter. I'm playing the Dark Knight. Is something I eyed out for this expansion for a while. So that's what we'll be going through as, but they are very cool jobs for sure. I just love the perspectives around here. So this is inside the crystal, which actually is, wait, are we showing someone inside the crystal? We are. So, and that really plays to the idea of it being about ether, like actually going inside ether, the Ethernet, going inside of it, having a story inside of it, is I think maybe where we're going, is where we're going to get our souls sucked into, or whatever is going to happen. Because that makes a lot of sense in terms of, I mean, explaining more about how the game world works, which I think would be really cool.
This tragedy,
Who's this?
greater even than the seventh umbral calamity.
Yeah, see, he's like, or they are made out of ether crystal, it looks like made of pure ether, which is crazy.
Must be undone.
God, the music is just so good.
If history must be unwritten, let it be unwritten.
History must be unwritten. Let it be unwritten. A statement which could allude to us dealing with time. And of all of the expansions so far, like if we look at both Stormblood and look at Heavensward, neither of those in any realm had any, like, could deal on the cosmic scale of time and stuff like that. Whereas Shadowbringers, if we're talking about ether, if we're talking about how the fabric of this world works, we could start to talk about larger concepts like time travel, or like erasing the past, or changing events. I do think it's always one of the most challenging places for MMOs or any franchise or story to go to, because it's so easy for loopholes to start happening and for things to really fall apart quickly. Whereas if you're telling a story like Stormblood, which in my mind is the most down-to-earth story they've told so far, about, you know, people taking back their homeland, about cultures and different tribes coming together. When you compare this to what could be the scope of Shadowbringers, you know, we're dealing with just a different perspective in terms of how big this could be, which is really cool. I still don't know who this is.
Become what you must.
There it is. A warrior of darkness. I always thought this part was so cool in the original watch of it too. Oh, this is the title screen. That's how the title screen's formed, I guess, with the spread of the, I don't even know what it is, but like it looks like fiery light on either side. And there's the crystal tower in the background, so it must be important.
Become the warrior of darkness.
The guitar riff is just so good. All right, there we go. I think that's July 2nd, 2019. This really gives us a scope of how long ago it was that I pre-order. Okay, so let's leave it on. Let's leave it on this. Okay, so there's the trailer. Yeah. So I definitely understand more than I probably did before playing through everything. And certainly in terms of characters, I think is the most important thing. Certainly like seeing, you know, Urianger, Minfilia, or not Minfilia, was the other one. The cat one, the one who can see ether. Seeing her, seeing Thancred, and then Minfilia was quite the drop in terms of, you know, something I didn't pick up when watching this the first time, and now watching it the second time, that's a huge, interesting fact that I'm curious to find out about. So that's very cool to see. I still don't know at all really what's going to happen. I still think it's about ether. The only thing I can give you that's a little bit closer is that maybe it has to do with us going inside of the crystals inside of the Ethernet. I don't know if there's like a world inside there. I don't know if there's people inside there that are like made of ether. But that's kind of where I think this is going. But yeah, I am nothing but hyped. I know that even while playing it, there's going to be questions for like probably 99% of the actual story. And then at the very end, they'll serve me some more questions for the next chapter, because that's just how they deliver story. They're the masters of having so many hidden layers to this. And I'm more than anything excited to go through it with through live stream. For those of you who haven't been watching the live streams, we only play through the MSQ and live stream now. I used to kind of do it through that. I used to do it by myself. I used to do it as videos. But certainly going through all of Stormblood as live stream made my experience of it so much richer, because I always have chat to lean on if I've forgotten something that's very important, or if I'm having difficulties understanding something that I should know. And then one thing that I've never had an issue with is really spoilers. This entire community has been so good with spoilers and taking, like, you know, giving space, and certainly discussing with each other about how they're excited for me to see something, but not telling me what that thing is. So yeah, I'm just really excited to get through it. We'll start. I mean, the next live stream is going to be starting Shadowbringers. Like, we're at it now. It's going to happen. Obviously not this weekend as we're launching this video, but in the coming weekends, you know, it's going to happen pretty quick. So stay tuned to the channel. I'll definitely do an announcement about when the next stream's coming up, and I can't wait to hopefully start this with everyone else and see what it was all about. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.